To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time that you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to reign, a time to sow, a time to love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. It's not too late. Turn, turn, turn. It's not too late.
What is up, peeps? How are we doing? Glad to see everyone jumping in here. See if you guys liked my intro video I did today. I was looking for a song like, I don't know, kind of covers everything. Everything's kind of intertwined type thing as far as the true crime community goes, regardless of the case, that type of stuff. So I hope the message got across, and just an in general covering of topics and that, you know, different serial killers over the years, victims, different things like that. Some quotes that I like and that I'm into. So I hope everyone thought that was cool. Little holiday episode today. We'll just talk about, we could really talk about anything. A couple of things I want to show you, and obviously we'll hit on the big cases that we always talk about here, but anything else you have. And then I'm going to give you just a very short introduction into a cold case from my town that I'm going to be, I've already started working, and I've already talked to a couple people behind the scenes about it. And I'd like to introduce that to you today, because probably most of you have never heard of the case or the girl. She was in the video early on. If you noticed, you might nod over, you might have said, oh, who is that? You know, who's that person? But I'll explain that to you. So let's say hi to everybody. What's up, Just Deb? Jinx, as always, here. Been some stuff going around. Some documents and stuff come out with Delphi today. Jinx has been traveling a lot. Luckily, I don't have to travel for the holidays. I worked Christmas Eve, which sucks, but I would have just went to my mom's anyway, which is literally right up the street. So, what's up, Danielle? Weird time, maybe during Christmas break for everybody, but I thought 3 o'clock was okay. And if I don't put Delphi in my topic thing, I don't get as many views, but that's okay. Obviously, I like to talk to whoever wants to come in and talk. And I think these are important too. Not just the steered lives that we do about a single topic or something. Just let everybody air out whatever they have. What's up, Tech Death? Practice. What's up, Grace? So anyways, I hope everyone had a good Christmas, good holiday, whatever it is you celebrate. I had a good Christmas day. Christmas Eve, we worked. We weren't too crazy busy as we expected, but we almost had a fire, legitimate fire. A lady put out a hardwood floor with a cast iron skillet. Not the best firefighting tool in the toolbox, but it worked. And we were very fortunate. She was very fortunate. And she had plaster and lath walls, and it was an enclosed room. So for firemen, that would have been extremely hot, and it would have been bad. So it worked out good. We got out there. She did her thing. We got out there and mopped everything up, make sure nothing spread. So our weather here, it was 61 degrees on Christmas. I can't remember Christmas where it's been 61. I live outside of Pittsburgh, and it's just it's been raining a lot since then. But hey, usually it would be snow at this time of year. Speaking of Pittsburgh, Steelers finally won a game, and everyone in Pittsburgh loves Mason Rudolph. I hope he has a good streak. I hope he gets him in the playoffs, but they forget his prior suckiness that he might have had before. But it's interesting coming up. We'll see what happens with them. Good NFL season. Michigan, they play New Year's Day against Alabama, 5 o'clock in the Rose Bowl. They're 1.5-point favorites, which it's almost like a pick'em game. I know a lot of people think just because Alabama, they're going to roll in there. But Michigan's been there twice, and they haven't made it to the championship game. And sure, Alabama's been there before, but this Michigan team is together. They lost some players from that team 2 years ago, but that nucleus is still there. Graduations, injuries, things like that, but still. My Delphi series, it's on a second video. I apologize. The very first one, I did a premiere, and the premiere kicked it back to a different canvas to make it like a short thing. So that's why I was screwed up with the one I have up. Let me know what you think about it. Like I said, there was some Keegan Klein stuff going around today, some filings. I don't know if he's getting moved, what exactly has happened. Frank Meister had something. Tech Death is a Browns fan. Well, you guys are right there too. Hey, well, we could agree on this. Amani Cooper went to Michigan, so we could be happy there. Warm in Ohio, yeah. We get the weather a few hours, about 12 hours after you, depending on where you are in Ohio. If you're right over the border, I get it a couple hours after you because we're Western Pennsylvania. He's getting moved. It sounds like Frank Meister shared something. Check out his page. For whatever reason, there's an appeal. I don't know if it's an automatic appeal or what's going on, but I told you in part one of my series why I thought that he was connected to this crime. Not hands-on, Keegan Klein, not hands-on, but with somehow electronically connecting with who Bridge Guy was, who I'm going to say, in another part of the video. So New Year's Eve, I'll be dropping one. I don't know if it'll be a premiere because my past experience didn't turn out good. But if I could figure that out, I'll do a premiere. That's kind of cool. Build up a little bit of excitement. People could all watch the video at one time and comment at that time. That's why the premiere is cool. For more so than the excitement for anybody. Who's getting that excited about it, but you can take that in visually and in audio wise together, and your first impressions could be put out there. And they're only 3 to 6 minute videos they're going to be, so they're not going to be very long. But I'm enjoying that. It's a lot of work to do those videos. So hats off to some people on the videos that they do. I like a lot of people, even though I don't agree with what they say about different cases. If they do good work, I can appreciate that. Flora updates. There's always things happening with Flora behind the scenes. Positive. There's a lot of good positive things. I have 2 creators reached out to me, and I've sent them a ton of information. So they might have covered, well, one of them covered floor quite a bit before, and the other one's kind of getting into it. So it's good for them. It's good for them to understand that. So let me get to a couple of things that I want to show you here. And one of them is going to be the first thing that I want to show you. Let me share my screen. I'm not going to jinx myself. Hi, jinx, as I always say. Hey, there's Frank. Frank, I was just talking about you and how you posted about Keegan Kline. I told him to go to your page and check it out because as many of you know, let me cancel this for a second. As many of you know, anytime I interpret a legal document, it's usually wrong. So I don't want to do that. So go check out Frank's page or his Facebook and see what that's about. But I told you, I believe that. I think that there's a link there. I do. And I've been going over to Keegan Kline transcript from the interview with the police. And I found a couple things, and I'll show you a couple screenshots, and they're interesting. There's no there's the moment. I don't see that. And I think it's 135 pages or something like that. And I'm only about through 65. And I've read through it before, but I'm reading through it and taking notes because I think when you hit a wall with something, you go back to the beginning. And that's what I started doing with Flora. So, but on the Keegan Kline information, check out Frank's page on YouTube or on Facebook. And he has the documents. And I don't know if maybe he'll do a live later or something explaining it or coming up. We'll see. But check out him for that. In a Discord, Jinx, you make me think of it. And, I watch a lot of people, whether I agree with their theories or not. I always enjoy Rick Snay's lives. And no offense to anybody, no pun intended, but when he talks about no in that voice, and when he talks like Ron Logan, I crack up. I just think it's fucking absolutely hilarious. So I always am entertained by his shows. I think it was me and Jinx that were talking about that. And it's just so funny. And if one day maybe he could have a conversation, he could talk between No and talk between Ron Logan in those voices. That'd be funny. That I would think it's funny. Maybe I'm fucked up. I don't know. But no offense to anybody there, but I just think that it's funny. But it made me think Jinx making me say hi, don't jinx yourself. And always in chats I say hi, Jinx. But let me show you a couple of things here, if I may. Pull up the old Gmail and let's share this page with you. And I will follow along on my phone to make sure what I'm showing you is what I want to show you. So give me 1 second here, because as you guys know, I'm not exactly Elon Musk when it comes to this stuff. Okay, good. Let me make this a little bit bigger so everyone can see this. This is Kimberly Crim. I will share this on my community page so everyone can see it a little bit better. It's probably not the best picture size-wise, but July 6th, she was found in 1998, McKeesport, Pennsylvania. Obviously, so you guys know that's where I am from. That's my hometown. I met her a couple times. She was a little bit younger than me, but I knew her sister, her older sister. And let me just read this real quick and give you a quick synopsis on it. And anybody that wants to do any kind of research or any kind of digging around on the internet, whether you have a page, whether you've done it before, whether it's your first time, let me know anything you find. I'm just in the very beginning gathering stages right now. I do know some of the policemen that work this. So I don't, whether they'll talk to me or not, we're friends, whether they'll talk to me about this case or not, I don't know. I'm not going to say that they are. But I think some of them will, even if they give me some off the record stuff. So this is coming up. This July 6th will be 36 years? Have I got that right? No. 26 years. Yeah, 26 years. Goodness gracious, math isn't my thing. Let me get to reading, which I'm better at. When 14-year-old Kimberly Crim went missing, it was straight out of a parent's nightmare. The teen left her home to visit a friend and buy hair dye when she vanished on June 30th, 1998 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 6 days later, her body was found on a hillside near McKeesport and Versailles Cemetery, just a few blocks from her home. Kimberly was described as an athlete with a feisty personality and a knack for home improvement projects. Her family said she was very excited to start 9th grade at McKeesport High School in the fall. McKeesport High School, obviously, where I graduated from. The Pittsburgh Tribune Review reported that investigators never classified the death as a homicide as her body was in an advanced state of decay, leaving unanswered questions in her wake. Now, 17 years later, the case is still open but has gone cold. Tom Green, the assistant chief of the McKeesport Police Department, told the Review that all leads were exhausted and the case now rests on someone coming forward with new information. So this is why you do these things. I'm glad Frank was in my chat, because me and him were just talking the other day about this. There's people that will come to someone on YouTube and it won't go to the police for whatever reason. They had bad business deals with the police or they had bad experience with the police, but they will come and give some information. Now, we're not going to go arrest anybody or do anything like that, but we will turn over what we have to the police. But it's just information that we can get, we can verify, that they won't go to the police with. So this is why the YouTube thing's important. It has a good side and a bad side, like everything does. Kimberly's mother, Jeannie Crim, started a Facebook group, and I believe the group's still active. It's called Who Killed Kimberly Crim? Who Killed Kimberly Crim? KIMBERLIEKRIMM. KIMBERLIEKRIMM. Kimberly Crim. So go to the Facebook page. I'm pretty sure it's still active. I reached out. It was in McKeesport group where I live. It was a weird thing. It just kind of appeared, the web sleuth. Has anyone ever covered this Kimberly Crim's case? And her mother, I don't know her mother well. I've met her before, in passing at youth sports and stuff like that. And I said, hey, listen, I'd like to do this. And she said, yeah, fine. I asked her in the process of gathering information from me. I'm gathering information from my end. I'm going to do my best to talk to the police. I'm sure I'm going to talk to some of them. I worked with those guys. They're retired now, but I worked with those guys. I know those guys well, and they're good guys. They're good guys. They really are. So it's to raise awareness about the case, comfort others who are going through similar situations. Too many of us mothers are grieving over babies being put in body bags, Jamie told the Review. This violence has to stop. Anyone with information about the case, urge to call McKeesport Police, 412-675-5015. That's actually the warden's desk, but that works. Or the Allegheny County Police at 412-473-3000. I will share all that in my community group. But any information you need from me to get started or anything like that, let me know and I can get that to you. But this case, like I said, obviously is close to the hearts of everyone here because it's your hometown. So I am going to be talking here soon to Jeannie about it. So hopefully we can get some movement here. And again, someone got to come forward. Isn't that always the mantra, right? Same way with Flora. It was the same way with, I believe, I won't get into it, but I believe that's what happened with Delphi. I believe someone came forward, but we won't dive too far into that today. Okay. So let's see here. Let's get into the comments. Make sure I didn't miss anything. And again, if anybody wants to help with any of that, I'm going to pop back into my email and show you some other stuff. If anybody wants to help me with any of that stuff, you are more than welcome. You don't have to have a page. You don't have to have investigated a case again or before. Just you could bring it. You could bring it. Well, I'm not sure, Deb. I don't know if they're necessarily new. One of them, I guess I could say one of them, I'm not going to say the name because I don't know them that well, but Marv messaged me from True Crime with Marv, and I sent her a ton of stuff. So she reached out on Discord and said, hey, could you send me some Flora stuff, kind of getting back in and seeing what's what. So I sent her, and I even laughed, I sent her a month's worth of shit that she could go through. But the other ones, yeah, like I said, I don't talk to him that much, so I don't want to say anything. I don't know. Maybe that's weird, but I apologize. But let me go back to this page here and a couple things I'd like to show you. This was awesome today, and I'd like to show this to you guys if I can. This was Becky Patty's post today on Facebook, and this is just, how someone, and it's small, and I'm sorry that it's small, folks, but it's a screenshot, and I didn't do a good job of taking the picture. So, okay. Now, once again, I have to figure out how to go down here. But anyways, time just keeps marching on while we stand still. You're a young woman with an entire future ahead of you. We only got to remember you as 14. Oh, Libby, Kelsey had Miss Ellie in August. You should have been there. Maybe if you would have been, you could have prevented Grandma from totally embarrassing herself. And I'm who knows what that's about. That's just funny. But it goes on and on. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But it was just a beautiful, beautiful message. If you're friends, you can find her on Facebook. I don't think anything's private. You don't have to comment or anything. But if you want to see it for yourself, it is just a very fitting tribute, which I thought was really cool. I shared this today. I made this real fast on one of the things, and I wanted to get her picture in a softball because that was her thing, one of her things. And I don't know, I could associate with athletes, young athletes. I never coached girls before, but it's the same. So, you wonder what you'd be doing at 21. Today's her birthday, so a little more focus is on her. But yeah, it hits home. It's why we're here, though, right? That should be why we're here. Now, a couple of things in the Keegan Klein transcripts that I'd like to show you. And off my own, you think I took one good picture that I didn't have to blow up. Look at that. Even I could see that. Okay. What do you have to do with that? So I thought this was interesting. Why do I always do that? I apologize, guys. I just have the worst time figuring out this stupid thing because once I take it off. But anyway, his stepdad, and I didn't know anything about Keegan Klein's stepdad or anything like that. And as you can see, I'm a goof because I cannot. Maybe if I put it on the screen here, it won't go away. Yeah, I think that's what I got to do. But stepdad worked at a hog farm. Remember hearing all that hog farm stuff before? I just found this interesting. I don't have anything on a stepdad. I don't know his name, nothing like that. This was obviously his mom's husband, who, if you remember correctly, Keegan Klein married because he's ordained something, and he married him in Las Vegas. So I just thought, going through the transcript, I was taking some screenshots of stuff, and I really didn't prepare anything to talk about. But, hey, we're bringing shit up, so worked on a hog farm. Stepdad Keegan worked there before. I just remember that being mentioned a couple of times. Couple other things. And again, I've only been through, I think, 65 pages of I think it's 130. This is the old transcript that was released accidentally to the murder sheet. And people were like, oh, that can't be released accidentally. That had to be released on purpose. Maybe it was, but with all the other errors in the court records, I'm not talking about anything arguable, what the judge should have did this or that. I mean, just the general shit that they put in there and they shouldn't have. I could certainly believe that it was incompetence over a conspiracy. Talking about the person he moved in with, we know those names. I was at his house. Now, this was interesting here because I watched a live, and I can't remember who it was, where they said that Keegan Klein and his friend moved to Las Vegas. They told their parents that they moved to Colorado and not Las Vegas. This one guy, because his kids stayed behind. But here's what Keegan Klein says, that the kids moved with them to Las Vegas. And I was trying to pick out instances where Keegan Klein lied, because if I could find enough, then maybe it's just like, you know what? We're not going to believe anything he says. But I can't remember what YouTube. It was a good stream. I can't remember who it was. I was watching. But I found that interesting too. So that's just something kind of random. I'm just throwing some random things at you. Yeah, this is where he says the kids and everything is living with him in Vegas. So was there information saying, to the contrary out there? Or can we say that he's lying here? I'm not sure. We moved to Vegas. The kids move with you. Yeah, I mean, I lived with kids and everything when we lived in Vegas. Now, Keegan Klein's big thing during the first part of this interview was, hey, maybe 15, 16-year-olds are my thing, but I'm not looking at these pictures of young kids. That's not me. That's not me. He won't give that up. Whether that's him or not, I don't know. I don't know. It certainly could be. He could just be absolutely full of shit. Like other people have said, that maybe Keegan's just absolutely full of shit. And maybe he is. Maybe he totally is. But I just thought that those couple of things were interesting. And again, it's nothing. I don't have any crazy theories concocted up or anything like that yet. But so go into the chat and see what anyone got. If anyone wants to bring up any other thing, cases maybe we don't know about or anything like that, you want to talk or discuss, now's your shot at it. Let's see what everybody's saying. Yeah, there's more Florida stuff coming up. And listen, no one's anything that's happening in the background or the peripheral of Florida, nothing's stopping the several people from investigating it still. And, look real close at the beginning of the video. No one said anything in here about it. I don't know if Kathy's in here. Kathy will get it right away. But there's a little Flora Easter egg, if you will. Yeah, Gail, it was. And it was, and they said the 80s were like the late 70s and 80s were like the apex time for serial killers for whatever reason. Well, a lot of the reasons were this. The cops didn't communicate with each other. They didn't want anybody to solve their case. And if a murder happened here and it happened in the next town, they might not even talk to even know that they're similar. There was no database. There was none of that. So it's harder. Serial killers have declined over the years. But part of that is because they're getting caught faster, right? So they're not able to go on for 10 years. They're very few, but they're out there. They say I've heard numbers between 30 and 90 operating. Some people say between 50 and 150 operating at all times in the country. But unless you're catching them, how do you really know? Unless you have cases linked together. So everything's being linked together. But you're right. That time was, and you talk about at Kimmy's thing. Remember, you're that long ago, so we don't even know if there's anything was saved DNA wise to be tested in the future or anything like that. I would think that if they had that, they would have run it through the database, but I don't know. Listen, it was clearly a homicide. But the cause of death, they were like, well, it's so, bad, blah, blah, blah. She disappeared in the daytime. There's other things that we'll get into. So it's just, yeah, but we'll see. But anybody, like I said, that wants to get into that and do any digging around, yeah, there's been rumors around town. I remember some of them. And the rumors are just that, but I'm gonna research them. I actually already started researching one. But there was several. One of them there was one of them that was a cop was involved, and that's been totally debunked. I can't speak for them. I don't know what they think, but I don't believe that they think that. But I think that that's totally been debunked. That was just it was a vicious rumor, but there was one that had more substance to it. That I'm hunting down, it's a long time ago. So people's memories fade with these cold cases, right? People's memories fade, but they don't care as much. Like, I'll talk about it now. I don't want to talk about it then, but I'll talk about it now. This guy's, in his whatever age now, he's not a kid then or whatever. I'll talk about it now. So with memories fade, but sometimes that breaks down where somebody knew something or somebody saw something. And then, if there is any kind of DNA and there's any kind of suspect, you could acquire that DNA and test it against it. That sounds easy to do on its face, but it's extremely difficult. So, but like I said, I know these cops. I will be reaching out and trying to talk to the county, see if anyone will talk to me. I'll go out to one of their places, sit down. What can you give me? What can you tell? And like I said, I've talked to a couple other people behind the scenes, and they have their full caseloads, but they're going to, if they can help me in any way, shape, or form, they'll definitely do it. And just steering me in the right direction. Because this will be like the first time that I've picked up a case. What's up, Steffa? I've picked up a case kind of myself, and bringing awareness about it that most people haven't heard it. If you're from around here, you've heard of it, but this is not like a Delphi case, where it's known nationwide. Mother of Dragons, what's up? So look for more of that, obviously. Kathy has said that please do floor content. Yeah, Kathy will be having some stuff too. Actually, I was after the holidays, I was waiting to talk to her, but I'd like to do scope with her again and talk about, just talk about the case itself. What she thinks, what I think, different information. We could share different information. Again, I stress there's no gag on Flora like there is on Delphi. So, but that was the kind of the main gist of it. And again, I don't know if anybody went to Frank's channel yet or if Frank's still here, but the Keegan Klein thing appears to be moving jails, prisons. Jesus Christ. Prisons. Sorry. Not jails for innocent people. Unless you're Richard Allen, then you go to prison. But that's legal in their law. This isn't like they're just we're going to put them in prison. They're allowed to do that. If you don't like that, go to I guess Indianapolis is the capital, and go to their state legislator and say, you need to change this law. We don't say yins because they wouldn't know what the hell you were talking about unless you're from Pittsburgh. So you guys need to change this law. That's how shit gets done. They're just enforcing it. This is what they're allowed to do. A lot of rumors about Richard Allen. Why is he moving? He's on suicide watch. Did he try to commit suicide? Some people were saying they're alleging this, they're alleging that. I don't know. It's so frustrating that the sideshow, there's like a whole industry on the sideshow now. So you have the main case, and then you have everything going on peripherally about Delphi, and there's like a whole industry. And by industry, I don't mean people like grabbing money, but like there's a whole people spend hours in the researching this and researching that. And I got to be honest, a lot of times I'm sucked into it because some of these people do really, really good research and they make really compelling, cogent arguments, and you're like, well, holy shit. Try not to get involved in it. I consume it. I might comment on some videos and stuff like that. I don't want to really get into that. I want to keep it about the case as much as I can, but it certainly is compelling to watch, and I do watch it. People fighting back and forth, you try to leave that alone. People, doing other things. It's just bizarre to me, but I watch it because it's interesting to me. Like, I wonder why this person's doing that, or why this person made this video. And I try to understand that. So maybe I think too much into it, but, I shared a couple things in my Discord, if anybody's in there, about, witnesses. And I found it very interesting. So, Sleuth is who it was. Sleuth had a picture up, Sleuth Intuition, of Richard Allen taken the same day, one where he looked very young, one where he looked like older, but it was taken the same day. And it was just like his angle and everything like that. And I thought that was very interesting. About 2 or 3 days before, I was doing like a kind of like a deep dive on witnesses and what do witnesses see? Older people as a witness, anyone younger than them, they skew that person younger. So if a person's in their 70s and they see someone in their 40s, they're going to say they're between like their 20s and their mid 30s, right? If there's a teenager that sees somebody in their mid 40s, they might say that he's 45 to 60 years old, or, because that's how the eyewitnesses skew things. So to have an older lady have the young bridge guy sketch, right? And younger girls have the old bridge guy sketch, that is not necessarily out of the ordinary if it's the same person. If they saw the same person, they're always going to have to prove that they saw the same person. But you go back to Doug Carter's thing, and he's like, he put the two pictures together, and, he does speak in some riddles at times. Could that be what that means? Could it be? I was thinking of that. So I did some research on it, and it is true. It does that. But at the end of the day, they're going to have to be able to say, hey, yeah, that's him. Or when they get up on a stand and say, yeah, that's the guy that I saw. I saw Richard Allen. Or are they going to say, I can't say that was him. I can't. I can tell you what the guy looked like, but I can't say what that was him. one of my other lives, I must have said that Richard Allen saw Betsy Blair. Someone made a comment on one of my things. And if I did say that, I don't know that for a fact. So I should have said, I'm pretty sure I theorize, because I theorize that Richard Allen definitely saw her. But I can't say that for a fact. I can't say that it's been written anywhere, not in the Franks memo, which that's not necessarily all factual. The PC, any legal documents was that said, but it would stand to reason that if he was on that overlook pier or whatever, while he's looking at fish or whatever he was doing, that he would have been able to see that lady. But she doesn't actually say that he turns and looks or anything like that. But she notices that he has the scarf on. And remember, when she goes to police, it was before they put the picture out. So she described that person before they put the picture out. So all those things, like I went back and I was trying to link all that together because God, that's a lot to do too. But go back to the beginning. I just tell you guys, go back to the beginning. There's a lot of information that people put out there. So I think it's interesting. But does anyone have any other cases or anything else that they would like to talk about as far as we go, as we move forward? Yeah, Mommy. Till they win, they need to win the first game. If they win against Alabama, then they'll play Texas or Washington. And I actually think Washington's going to beat Texas. That's my 2 cents. I think Washington's going to beat Texas. Not a lot of people are giving them an opportunity or a chance, but that's what I think. I tell you what, without getting too let me take this down. Hold on 1 second. Without getting too conky and arrogant, I got everything working, I'd like to show you a video. I've showed it to you before. So give me a second while I find it, if you would please. You watched that already. That's not what we're looking for. Your clips. Hold on. You go to library, which isn't showing up. See, I got too arrogant. Oh, there we go. Delphi. Yeah, I have a couple cool interviews. I'll show them to you real fast. They're not very long. See what you pick up in here. Now, these are old interviews, right? Old interviews.
Although the killer thinks that he got away, every single day lab techs are working to process evidence, including DNA that was left at the crime scene.
It takes a lot of times, and we want to be very thorough. So we want to take our time, make sure our I's are dotted, T's are crossed. But this is a tough case.
A case Indiana State Police First Sergeant Jerry Holman has worked every day for the past 6
This video
months.
is about 5 years, almost 6 years old.
That's cliche, but we
know.
Dozens of state, local, and federal agencies still working around the clock to track down the man they believe killed Abby Williams and Libby German while the girls were out on a walk on the Delphi Historic Trails in February.
We're stronger than ever.
Police tell me they've conducted hundreds of interviews, followed up on thousands of leads, and served dozens of search warrants to find clues the killer may have left behind. Was there
dozens of search warrants? We've talked before, dozens of search warrants, and we know about 2 that are definitely linked to Delphi. I'm not counting Keegan Klein. You mean you're talking Ron Logan, and you're talking Richard Allen.
DNA evidence found at the scene of the crime?
I think at every crime scene you have, you're going to have DNA. We're still working on identifying whose all DNA we have there.
Along with DNA evidence, police also have the suspect's voice. Police tell me Libby recorded the killer's voice on her cell phone, telling the girls to go down the hill. Investigators say she hit record after he approached them near the Monon High Bridge. Today, Sergeant Holman tells me they recovered even more audio from Libby's phone, which was found with the girls at the crime scene.
We've only released a portion of it. There's some others that could help us. But again, protecting the integrity of the investigation is the key here. So we can't release everything we have because there's only certain people that know.
Okay, there's one again. Just these early interviews, man. There's just this is that Michael Catt dude. Kim Riley is a treasure.
It's just one of those situations when we got a case that this person's never apparently committed a crime before. We have, you would feel.
Okay, he's never committed a crime, so they're able to run something. Kim Riley's telling us, in my opinion, definitively, without telling us, they have something that they were able to run through some kind of database, and he's never committed a crime before. What that was, I don't know. What that is, I don't know. But let's listen again.
Feel that he had never committed a crime. He has no DNA in the database. Well, I can't. It's just one of those situations when we got a case that this person's never apparently committed a crime before. We have, you would feel that he had never committed a crime. He has no DNA in the database. Well, I can't comment on that. But I'm just saying that's what it looks like.
Gotta love Kim Riley, huh? Yeah, he's not confirming it so officially, but he is with his movements confirming it. Now I'm going to show you one more quick one. Let me know what you think of this one.
National base database.
Sorry, let me
week,
start
DNA
it over.
testing. That's right. Tonight, Indiana State Police tell me they have used familial DNA testing in past cases. And right now, investigators say they're using every resource they have to find this guy.
We're going to work this case until we either solve it or until everything has been exhausted.
But tonight, the man who killed Abby Williams and Libby German is still out there.
People don't like to keep secrets, and sooner or later somebody's going to say something somewhere, and somebody's going to hear it, and we're hoping that
Looks
person
like he just
hears
got off
it,
the golf
they don't
course
write
here.
off.
While Indiana State Police wait for that one last tip, investigators are using other tactics to track this man down, including DNA, which is being analyzed by the Indiana State Police Crime Lab.
That information is then put into a national.
So in the Frank's motion, when they tell you that these police said there's no DNA, that's their interpretation of this deposition, right? They saw it on a recording or heard it. More than likely, they saw it. And their impression of this is, well, he said that there's no DNA. Now, we're probably going to listen to it and say, well, how the hell could you get that interpretation? It's not illegal. They didn't lie. That's how they interpret it. So for the people to trumpet around, there's no DNA, there's no DNA. There's DNA. There's always DNA. Is there DNA that they can use? Is there 9 points or something? Maybe not. But that interview I played before, Michael Catt tells us, Kim Riley tells us that they had enough to run it in some kind of database to say this person's never committed a crime before. Again, these interviews are very old, and Kim Riley seems like a great guy. I love to play around in golf, drink some beers with him. He's retired now. Maybe we can smoke a bowl together. But he's going to give you information.
Database.
This week, DNA testing took center stage after police made an arrest in the
Look at that
30-year-old murder of April Tinsley. The 8-year-old Fort Wayne girl was kidnapped, raped, and murdered back in 1988. Police used what's called familial DNA testing, which analyzes DNA samples with public genealogy data.
Hey,
That
Frank.
information led them to John Miller, who confessed to the crime. I asked Indiana State Police Sergeant Kim Riley if his investigators are using that test in the Delphi case.
It's something we are using in cases. Are we using it in this specific case? I'm not going to say one way or the other.
But Riley tells me
That's a
familial
yes.
DNA testing is available to the department and says investigators are working closely with those who cracked the Tinsley case to see if their methods or findings could help solve the murders of Abby and Libby.
We are using information from that case to help solve any other cases that we have.
New technology that gives Abby and Libby's families hope.
Whatever it takes. If it's familial DNA, that's fine too.
This is another tool in their tool belt to help bring our case to justice.
Once again, investigators reminding everyone Abby and Libby's case is not cold. They're still following up on dozens of tips and leads, but need your help. If you have any information or know who this guy is.
Well, you guys get the gist of it. That's basically, but just old interviews. Like, man, old interviews, old newspaper articles. Yeah. Yeah, well, there's some stuff that's out. I don't know if I shared it or not. There's a Jim Clemente. He did a real quick short. He has a YouTube. God, I wish I could remember. I should write it down. Well, I didn't know I was bringing it up. He has a YouTube channel, and he made a short and just saying how all the stuff that's out is bullshit. All this new stuff is just total bullshit. It's not going to help. This is Jim Clemente, worked the case as an FBI profiler, writer, and I don't know, creator, writer, producer for Criminal Minds, has a show, podcast, a couple of different things. A guy that I really look up to. His quote was on the Richard Ramirez picture about nature versus nurture, genetics loads the gun, blah, blah, blah. And what he said was they had 6 packages of John Benet's underwear that were unopened that they bought. And she hadn't worn them yet. They haven't even opened them yet. And on those underwear was DNA from the people at the plant. So they got DNA. They even opened them up, got DNA, and says, hey, went to the people in the plant, were able to match it up. So there's always DNA. There's always DNA. As Becky Patty or Mike Patty and Anna Williams stated in early interviews, they came and took DNA from everybody in their families. And they were able to rule people out or say, what's this, what's this? And then whatever was left was, we need to find who belongs to this DNA and why this DNA is here. Whether it was one source, multiple sources, whatever it was, that was the next step in the case. And those are things that they don't have to put in that PCA, right? If you have enough to get to PCA, you're not going to put that. People are like, you're going to put the best. No, they're not. They're going to hold back. It's a game. It's lawyers jacking each other off. And maybe they're holding that evidence till the November 1st deadline. Maybe they're saying, we're not going to give this to the very end. Who knows? We won't know. We'll probably never know how discovery was given. We gave this first. We gave that first. We did this. We did that. Because if they're giving discovery, let's say that they're saying, we're going to drop on this next discovery drop, we're going to drop a really big piece of evidence. We're going to put it right at the top so they know what it is. And then we're going to reach out and say, hey, do you want to make a deal? And then, give him a couple of days, let him sit on it and simmer. And that's how these games are being played. So we don't really know how everything came out or whatever. But, just for people to say, well, they don't have this and they don't have that, it's impossible to say that. Those people might be right. For the people to say that David Erskine was incorrect, you cannot, in my opinion, you cannot possibly say that. You saw 1 or 2 crime scene photos out of thousands. So who knows during the process when those were taken? Were they taken, or were the girls' boat, were they covered with leaves? They took pictures, took this off, took more pictures, took this off, moved the girls, took pictures of the ground. That's, they stripped the crime scene away and they photograph everything along the way. So we don't know when those pictures were taken. The credence I give to that argument is I don't see any police scene stuff in there. I'm not saying they were police scene or early searchers, but if it was early searchers and they get there right away and they take the pictures and there's no leaves on them, then maybe there isn't leaves, but it's hard to tell. Did they edit out the bottom where there would be a scale or there'd be some kind of evidence marker? That's possible to do that. That's easy to do now, right? If that's in the corner just to make it bigger, but I don't know. I never saw them. I don't need to see them. To me, they wouldn't help just 2 pictures anyway. Even if this was like we're taking like an online class and we're learning how to be, look at a crime scene or whatever, and they give you cartoon pictures. I don't know if you guys ever took them. They'll give you like 25 pictures. And if you saw 2 pictures, you're not going to be able to do anything. You need to see the rest of them. Because which 2 pictures did you see? Why did they show those 2 pictures? Then you get into the leaks and stuff like that, which I find it interesting when people do shows about it. Like I said before, I watch it. I personally don't really get investigated that much, but it lets you know where, I think by now, most of us know we're going to follow this person or we believe that person. Who do you trust? Who do you trust when you're YouTube? Who do you trust creator-wise? You might disagree with them, not agree with them. You might even dislike the person, but you say, you know what? If this guy says something, he's solid with it. So you need to, need through that, if that makes any sense to you. So, whoops. Yeah, the Ramsey case was a little before my time. John Douglas, I read all his books. He talked about it in his books. And I think the guy's name was it Steve Thomas was the investigator in Colorado. Yeah. Well, you know what? Again, there's a guy who I disagree with, Bob Motta. and I've said this, I probably to you before, Frank, that dude's a star. That dude needs a show. He's a star. He's good. I enjoy it. I enjoy his energy. That guy fucking exudes energy. He could be a good sports coach. He's like, yeah, I like that. I really do. He's cogent. He's not like just murmuring on and on. But I disagree with him. But here's a joke. I wrote a joke today, and I'd like to see what everyone thinks of the joke. I found a podcast where defense attorneys admit the clients are guilty. That's the joke. Do you get it? Because there are no podcasts where the defense attorneys say that anyone's guilty. I think Bob Motta gives John Wayne Gacy at least a nod for being guilty. But that's what they do, folks. That's what they do. So don't go in there thinking like, well, I think this guy's guilty. And they're talking about his case. Of course, they're going to say he's innocent, or else they're not going to be very good. They're not going to have futures as defense attorneys, which honestly, I don't think Bob Motta needs to try another case in court. I think he got it going on as far as like he could be a star. Whether you like him or not, he got energy. He speaks really well. He comes off very, very smart, educated, but he's like, I don't know if he's from Philly or Boston or Chicago, but he has like that street, like I like it because I think I have it too, like a kind of like a street talk a little bit. I like that. So we could disagree on every single thing he says, and we don't. But I'll still watch their shows because I do enjoy them. I enjoy the defense or the prosecutors too. I enjoy them. And man, when are they getting together? Frank says he's from Chicago. I knew it was somewhere gritty, somewhere blue collar. They need to get together and have a show. But anyways, that's what it is. There's people that like I said, I don't agree with all the time, but I'm entertained by them and I'll continue to watch their shows. But who do you trust with information? You know, I've said it before, Frank Meister, when he gets shit, it's pretty fast and it's always boom. And he'll read it to you and he'll explain as best he can, but he won't spin it. Because every time that I interpret a legal document, I'm usually 100% wrong. So I give up on it. I say, here, I got it. I'll share it with you. And then watch this guy later or watch that guy later. Yeah. Neutral attorneys. Yeah. I would watch the prosecutors and I would watch the defense diaries and like a debate on the Delphi case, on the court legality of it, not the investigation, on the court legality of it. But you need to understand that the defense attorneys aren't going to say this person's guilty. It would be like me as a career fireman having a show on arsonist. Hey, this arsonist is great. No, what? No, it just wouldn't work. So, but anyways, yeah, Mother of Dragons, like button, share, subscribe, anything you like to do. I'm going to get ready to cut out of here. I just wanted to do a holiday pop-in thing. I'll be away this weekend. Me and my girlfriend are going away for New Year's Eve. We're catching the Michigan game at 5. I said, we got to be by a TV Monday at 5 o'clock so I can watch Michigan game. So it might be in a hot tub outside of our room, but if there's a TV, I'm good. We're okay. We can make that work. So we will see. But I wanted to go over this. I wanted to introduce you to Kimberly Crim. And if anybody wants to join the Facebook page, any information that you get, Kevlar148@hotmail.com. People have emailed me stuff before about other cases, and anything you guys got, any kind of help that you can give on that. It's a case from my hometown. Met the girl before, but didn't know her while she was younger, but know her family. So we can maybe help out on that and bring some awareness back to it, because it has been long. But you see these cases, they're falling, right? These cold cases, they're falling. They're falling all the time. So maybe this could be one too. Frank, if you just popped in at the very beginning of this episode, I brought it all on. And I'm going to be sharing it too. I'll share it in my Discord also. I'll share it in your Discord, the information I have on it. So I'm going to make some tacos, even though it isn't Tuesday. I had leftovers from Christmas yesterday, so we're having Taco Wednesday. And I have celiac, I can't eat wheat, but I can make really, really good tacos. Most of that's corn-based, so it's awesome. And I try to have tacos once a week, if possible. And I think everybody should have tacos once a week. It would be a better place. But jump on YouTube tonight, follow your favorite creators, share their content, like their content. You know, if they're asking about cases to cover, mention Flora. Hey man, get into Flora. Miss, get into Flora. Maybe, you know, we jump around there and see what we got. But I hope everyone had some fun today. Quick little chat, and everybody happy New Year. I don't think I'll be back doing a live until the new year, 2024. My anniversary date on YouTube was New Year's Eve of last year. So my first broadcast ever. Go back and look at it. It's pretty choppy. Last year, New Year's Eve. So I kicked off, and I'm close to 700 subs, and I'm just flattered by that. I know people have more, but I think that's awesome. And I always have like 20 to 30, 20 to 40 people in the chat. So it's always great. So Missy, Mother of Dragons, Frank, hi. Frank Meister, Jinx, everyone else, Gail, Grace, Sandy, everybody that was in here today. Steffa, Mommy Wolverine, of course, Mother of All Dragons, Just Deb, CJK. I bet on Kansas last night, CJK. Tech Death Hippie, Danielle. I hope I got everybody in that little final salute. But thank you very much, everyone, for coming in. As always, corn tortillas, Hiawatha. I like the hard shells. My girlfriend loves corn tortillas. I could eat corn tortillas, obviously, can't eat flour ones, but most of them. But I like hard. I go hard shell all the time. Hard shell, hot sauce, cheese, lettuce, and I'm in. But anyways, thank you for joining me this afternoon. Kevlar148hotmail.com. You want floor information, I'll give you everything I got. Kimmy Crim, KRIMM Facebook group, and any information anyone finds in that, and anybody, any help that anybody wants to be. It's all right, Honeybee. Honeybee's popping in. Check the replay out. Some good info. Honeybee, maybe she'd help. I'm working a local case. If you go back and watch the beginning, if you have anything that you can help out with, or graphics or whatever, she does great graphics. I just sent Honeybee a video I watched on the Wild West, because she does a really, really good Ability Kids series into the Wild West. And I was like, oh, you know what? Honeybee would think this is cool. So I thought it was cool. So hopefully she liked it too. But I'm taking off. My tacos are about to get cooking here. It's almost 4 o'clock, and I've taken up enough of your holiday week, if you will. Happy New Year, and look for my Delphi video part 3 to Coach Kev Theory, New Year's Eve. I don't know if it'll be a premiere because I screwed that up pretty good last time. So it just might pop out at some point during the day. So set your alerts, if you will, and give your favorite YouTube creators some love. Share, like, helps the algorithm, helps everything that we do. So, all right, everybody, before we get out of here, we'll do like we do. I have Turner's tea today. Abby's 21st birthday. Should be having a drink today. Have a drink for her today, no matter if it's iced tea or vodka, whatever it is that you want. And remember that. That's why most of us, I think that's why my crowd's here. That's why we're here. So we'll say tentacles and send one up top. And thank you all so very much. I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Happy New Year. Coach Kev, out.